Unsyndicated presents Off the Board, the weekly gambling show. Hosted by Blake Majchrzak and Mike Iavasile.
Welcome into another edition of Off the Board. I'm Blake Majchrzak. I might be the hottest gambler in the universe right now.
You
Mike,
are on fire.
It's not even on any of these show sheets. Nothing I've said on the show. I just keep hitting parlays, and I don't know what to do with myself.
You may not have it on the show or anywhere there, but I have it on text record. Everything you've done,
Every time,
everything you've done, I've got to.
That one, the last one, I was like, I threw that together in like 2 minutes, and I was like, we'll see. I liked all of them, but obviously I need Justin Jefferson to score on Monday Night Football. It all came down to that. And I was like, do I cash out? Do I let it ride? Obviously, I let it ride, and it worked out. It was great.
Once you got past the Mike Evans, that was gold.
No.
That was gold. That was the sketchy one right there. But when you got that, you were in.
And I wasn't locked in on that game. So, like, you told me he scored before I even knew. Because I was really, like, intrigued by the Lions game. I was, like, all in.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, like, the Bills, everything. And obviously I had bets on that game too. And then when you were like, I don't know, Mike Evans, because he had, like, a bad first half too. He only had, like, 2 catches. And I was like, and didn't he end up with 2 in that game?
Oh yeah, it went from sketchy to easy. They just pounded the Chargers. That was an easy one.
So how are you feeling? Because now we have a bigger college slate that we're back to, and your college picks have been hot all year.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling with the playoff? Because this is like uncharted territory for all of us.
I like it. I like it. It is uncharted, but I like it. And the fact that it's not a bowl game, that's a whole separate issue that we can talk about. But these playoffs, I like them. The only problem I have, I think I mentioned to you when we were texting, is the bye week. Like that extra week off throws my numbers off, because usually that early money comes in on Monday. So now I've got to try to decipher, did that early money come in last Monday or is it this Monday? Yeah. Other than that, I think I'm locked on. I've got some bets for the show, and then I don't have any official bets in my account. I won't have them till tomorrow morning. I'll get the Friday game. Saturday morning, I'll get the Saturday game. But I definitely will I got some leans where I think I'm going.
So how much, I guess, do you think gamblers are like taking into, like, how different is this though? Like the home playoff game, everything, like that's gotta, it's throwing me for a loop, because I'm like, these teams on neutral site, it would be so different.
Yeah, and I think it's even it's throwing everyone. It's throwing even the NCAA for a loop, because kids are gone. You can get tickets on the cheap. I think that Indiana Notre Dame game might be the heaviest one. But I mean, but the kids aren't in school. Like they're really finding out that, you know, they may not have the crowds. Then you've got the weather. I mean, it's not often that you get this premier matchup, these 4 matchups, and it's going to be weather. I mean, there's going to be cold, in 3 of them, right? The Ohio State game, the Penn State game, and the Notre Dame game are all going to have weather. Usually these games are in California, right? Yeah. Arizona, Florida, so they don't have it. So this is different. When I'm looking at these lines, for me, I know what I like, but then you're hearing possible snow tonight into tomorrow in the Notre Dame game, 20 degrees in the SMU game, like that now impacts it, because I love SMU. Everything says SMU. Can they play in the cold? I don't know.
Well, but I'm also even like Ohio State, like look at their roster and the construction of it. A lot of those kids are from Georgia and Florida. It's not like they're a bunch of northern kids too.
Yes.
And like, it's one thing to play that last week in November, but now, like 2 weeks in December, like weather, obviously it changes a lot. Yeah, so like, I think that weather will impact these games, whether like we like it or not.
Yeah, and again, whether it impacts both, like I look at the Notre Dame Indiana game. They're both Midwest teams. That I can't see one being. It's that SMU game that I'm really looking at to see, is that one going to get. Then the Tennessee game. But again, when you look, like you said, look at the rosters. These are all Texas, Florida, California. These kids did not grow up here. They play here, but they might play. Ohio State might play what, the Michigan game in some weather. But then they're playing off in a bowl game and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
And they're soft as shit anyway. So what does it matter?
Oh, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Oh, I love it. Yeah, but I can't, like, I think I've been up in arms about it. I didn't want 12 teams. I thought 8 teams would be plenty. I wanted, the premier matchups. Maybe I didn't get the names. But as we get closer, Blake, this is about as excited as I've been. So I think they got it right. I hope they don't ruin it, and I do hope there's some changes coming.
I agree with all of those points. I'm pissed. I have a Christmas party Saturday night, so I'm only gonna watch Friday. I'll watch Friday. I'll watch the noon game, and then I'm gonna make sure it's on at the Christmas party.
Yeah,
but it's not. I won't be locked in on those later Saturday games, which stinks. But before we get into like last week's game, just real quick to wrap up this conversation. Out of the 4 games, if you were just going straight money line, that's it. You had to pick one as an upset. Which one's the one?
I flipped back and forth on this. If you asked me this a week ago, I might have jumped on Tennessee before you even got that question done. I don't know why I'm really falling in love with Indiana.
I mean,
and it's that I'm not so sold on Notre Dame. I was going to put at 15-1. I was going to put some money on them, and then I actually watched the whole game of theirs, that USC game. I think they can be had. I don't like their defense. I do like their quarterback. I think their quarterback's gonna be the difference. But if I had to, gun to my head, Indiana.
I think I might take Clemson, which is weird. I know it's the biggest spread, but I don't like the way Texas's offense has looked.
Right.
And Quinn has looked off like all season, really, since his injury. Yes. He's looked shaky. So that I know that's the biggest spread, but it's like, and also it would be the most Dabo Sweeney thing ever. To just be like, everyone doubted us. Everyone was counting us out, and then they win.
Yeah, I do think that spread is too big. I'm on a side in that game. I think the spread's too big, but I can't get there. And when we talk about that game, I'll give you 2 reasons why I can't get there to Clemson doing that. Even though, again, anything can happen. We've seen this happen before. We've seen Clemson be doubted against Alabama in championship games and come out ahead. But I don't know. I'll give you credit if it happens, though. You called it. And it's on the show.
That's the only game I didn't pick a side on because I don't know. Like, legitimately, I don't. The spread's funky, everything about it. But before we get too deep into those games, I'm just so excited about them. It's like all I've been thinking about all week. Let's put a bow on last week. Let's go through those real quick. Army-Navy was an incredible game. The under didn't hit. That number is now 47-12-1 since 2005. So I'll still bet the under on that every single year. But that was a fantastic football game.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I was at the hockey rink all day, following it on my phone. But I think it was real early that I sent you I think this is an easy double loser for me. I think it was 21-7, real quick.
Yeah, it had a chance at the end, and then Navy scored one more time. Obviously it was close. It was within 5. But it looked like it was dead early for sure.
And you call it all the time whenever and you'll call it a couple times here because I'm going to be on some unders today. You know it, that you can't have the turnovers and the defensive. You just can't have that when you're going for an under. And that's what happened. It happens, whatever.
It's explosives and turnovers. That's what kills unders. That's it.
Yep.
So
And again, I said it before. They're just gonna have to have some stops, and from the looks of it, there just was obviously Captain Obvious here. There just wasn't enough stops.
yeah. On to the NFL, and what is the biggest standout to you from these games last week?
I mean, it's got to be obvious. Everyone's got to be waiting for this. What was Jonathan Taylor thinking? I can't stand it. I don't understand it. It happened twice last week. It happens, it seems, every week. Carry the ball into the end zone. That's a cover. I'm not even mad at that one. But the biggest thing has to be on this board, Blake, is Detroit fans have to be worried.
Yeah, I think I don't want to be too negative, Nancy. I think they're toast. You can't come back from that many injuries. Dan Campbell can have as many speeches as he wants and everything, but if you don't have bodies, it doesn't matter.
And they're saying all the right things. I mean, what are they supposed to say? You had Aaron Glenn came out today and saying, "Oh, they're saying all the right things," but that wasn't a good look, and that started, I think, in the second half of the Thanksgiving game. It carried into here, and I just don't know how long they're going to hold on.
They can still outscore teams. Their offense is still awesome, even without Montgomery. But there's no way in hell I would ever bet an under on any of their games. No way. Honestly, though, same thing with Buffalo right now. The games that they're playing.
Yes. I mean, they just have to, because when it gets into the playoffs, as everyone knows, the noose tightens, the teams get better, the players play up. It's just going to be a tough one. They've got to start getting guys back for the playoffs, or it's going to be trouble. And if they lose that first round, the number one seed, they're in trouble.
Yeah, and but I think so. If the Vikings win out, I know that they win the division. I think if the Vikings went out, they also would get the 1 seed.
Yes, because of the first. If I heard this right, the first tiebreaker is schedule strength, and they'll get that over Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and I get it. That'd be fine. I don't know if they're going to win out. It depends on where Detroit's head is on that last game in Detroit. But the way Philadelphia is playing, you could play them anywhere. I think Philadelphia would take Minnesota. And I say that, and I have some very nice things to say about Minnesota when we get to our bets.
I love Justin Jefferson.
That's all you do. He is your BFF right now. He is your BFF.
It's those LSU boys. I just, there's something about them.
So I've got something for you. I often come to you and ask. So before we get started in our games, I said I wouldn't go on a rant. So I took this from a huge rant that I had to just a question for you.
Yes.
In your mind, what does the NCAA have to do to improve bowl games, improve bowl season, improve the look of them? We're 4 bowls in, and if anyone says they know what they're doing when they're handicapping these games or betting on these games, they're lying to you, Blake. They've got no idea. In 3 of these games, I believe 3 of them, the line has gone from one team to the other team. In 2 of them, I think it even went back and forth between the 2 teams. And you have spread moves as much as like 7 points, guys opting in, opting out, right? It's not a good look. These 4 games, even though I did.
No, I mean, look at the Penn State kid that's not even playing in the playoff game because he's transferring.
And then there's kids that are transferring. Who was it? I hit that game. The Western Kentucky quarterback went to FAU before the game for a visit, or FI, one of the Florida teams. Like we can't have this. What do you see as a possible solution? Because we're losing bowl games here.
Pay them. If you want the kids to play in bowl games, pay them. Make it an NIL deal, because it is all these games are sponsored by whatever. The Cheez-It Bowl, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, whatever it is. Pay them. If you win, you get more money. So that ensures that the game is competitive, but you have to pay both teams.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The teams already
No
get
matter
paid.
what.
Yep.
But and then if you want to even make it the players on the winning roster get a 1-year NIL deal for bad boy mowers. Then
I love
sure.
bad boy mowers. Love bad boy mowers.
But that's it's money.
All right, I
That's
love
the
it.
only thing that's ever gonna fix it. And they have to figure out the portal. They have to figure out the transfer portal because this thing is such a clusterfuck right now. And I'm very pro portal. I think players should have rights.
Yes.
I think players should be able to move whenever they want to move schools, obviously within like semesters, whatever. If coaches can leave whenever they want, players should be able to leave as well. I'm 100% for that. But there has to be a way for a guy like Pergula, the kid for Penn State, who has a role on that team, but he knows he's not going to be the starter next year because Drew Aller is coming back. He needs to be able to, even if there's somehow a way for him to sign with a team, but he still can stay on that roster until the end of the playoff run, or if they move the portal window to after the playoff. But the problem with that is you can't do it because the end of the season is after the start of the second semester.
It's very easy. That's very easy to fix. I think that's easier to fix than what is going on. And I love those are the two things I wrote down. You have to pay the winning team. You have to incentivize these.
But I think you have to pay both teams something.
Yes. But it's much more for the winner. Winner takes more, and then you just have to move that portal. You can't have this joke Wild West portal going on while kids are trying to honor their commitment that they have, but yet they know if they don't leave, they're going to get passed up and spots are going to be taken. They have to move the portal, whatever it takes. Second semester, third semester. Football is the only reason some of these universities are around. The money that's coming in, stop it, move that portal. Let's work this out. I need meaningful bowl games back that I can look at. I know who's playing. I know whether I win or lose my bet. What I went through in that first bowl game was an absolute joke. I knew it before I went in. I thought I was smarter than everybody. I had that piece, and I got totally burned by it. So I just wanted to get your feel on that because you are much more the college guy than me.
No, it's a mess. And I mean, I still, like I said, I'm for it, but I still think the whole situation is a mess. And I hope that some things can change. In April, the rumor is in April, there's going to be a lot of changes because that's when all the stuff comes out about them actually being able to basically like pay them directly through the schools. Okay. So, but if you think college football is a joke right now and everything it's going through, college football is like a 10th of what college basketball is. College basketball is a mess, man. It is 10 times worse because you'll have whole rosters leave.
Like Marshall.
Yeah. But like legitimately, I mean, because in college basketball, a whole roster is 16, 18 kids. You'll have the whole team leave. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, you look at a team like Kentucky when Cal left, their basically entire roster left. Yeah. And it's just it's crazy. It's nuts.
It's just got to be regulated. It has to. There's a way to go about it to bring back some sanity to these bowl games because I'm just getting jaded on it. It's a huge part of our lives, my life, your life. We love watching them. But when you don't know what's going on, you can't bet them. It makes it a hard watch. It makes it a real hard watch.
Real quick, I just wanted to pull up the records because I like mine right now, and we didn't get that far. I started.
There it is.
We're at 500.
I hope
we start climbing up.
Yes, I hope you're on it this week. We need you to get over 500. We need to bring some respect to the show. I'm clearly not doing that.
Todd, I don't know if you have this. Happy retirement. Todd, I don't know if you can put it in the private chat. Do you know what my lowest point was, like percentage wise? I don't know if you have that in front of you or not. If not, don't worry about it. But yeah, I want to know how good the recovery was, because I feel like it was. I was down there, like, I think below 400 at one point.
Oh, you were, but the way you spread, you fire it. Yeah. To get to Skydog's point here, it's not going to be what the rookie. I'm not talking about guys opting out that are going to go pro. That I'm not even going there. That those guys I'm talking about the guys that are just looking to go for their 18th year of eligibility in another school, or they're just these quarterbacks now. They jump into the portal and they're getting more money than they would, because they're not NFL quarterbacks. They're making more money. Starting quarterbacks in the portal are getting what, $2-3 million. Yeah. I mean, those guys. That's what I'm talking about.
That's like for a mid-level QB.
Yeah.
That's not even for a high-level guy. See, that's like the kid from Liberty that went to Colorado. I think he got around that number, and he's not good.
He's terrible. I watched that bowl game. Terrible. This is just terrible. But that's not what I'm talking about. But I do get what he's saying. But
the NCAA's got to figure some stuff out, or just go away. Let the SEC and the Big Ten run everything. Honestly,
as far as what?
Like,
not
let
the playoff.
Honestly, yeah, sure. Let them run it. Let them run the sport. I don't care. Because it's like, everything about it right now is in a very, very bad and explosive place. And if things don't get fixed soon, we're not going to recognize the sport. And it's already unrecognizable to some, but the thing that still is the same for me, and for my child, tuning into a college football Saturday still feels the same.
Yeah. I got you.
If it gets much further, it's not going to feel the same.
I got you. So, I got you. So we ready?
You ready to get into these playoff games first?
Well, I got some trends. We can pull them up. I got some trends I'll go over. I pulled up a couple of trends for all four games. All right. To see if this might sway us a little bit. In the Indiana Notre Dame game, Notre Dame is 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Indiana is 9-2 to the over.
Yeah.
In their last 11 games. SMU Penn State. Penn State's 4-0 to the over in their last four games. Yep. In their last four games.
So that's since the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
And for Notre Dame, that number was since the Northern Illinois game. Right?
Someone smarter than me got these going. In the Texas Clemson, Texas is 7-1-1 to the under in the last 9, which me and you talk about a lot, how we love their defense.
Yep.
Ohio State is also 7-2 to the under. Maybe I'm going these ways. Maybe I'm not. It's funny. I thought there would be more kind of trends since it's just focusing on those games. There really wasn't that many. That I think so. It's even new to these handicappers and these guys that are doing it. There was much more for the bowl games.
It's hard to pick up on trends for something we've never seen.
Yeah.
Home playoff games are just so new, and just everything about the entire experience, the week, even just the week that they're playing, everything about it. It's so fresh. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's hard to find trends.
When we had these four games, and these four games in particular, we know a lot about. We had 2 weeks to look at. I thought it would be a lot easier than it was this morning when I was writing these up.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Like I said in the group chat, I've been thinking about these games all week, and I was like, there's some of them I feel better about than others, but and we'll get into it in a second, that Clemson Texas game, I have no idea what to think. What version of Clemson are we going to get? What version of Texas are we going to get? I don't know.
It's going to be beautiful.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do this.
First game tomorrow night. Indiana is going to Notre Dame, little in-state rivalry.
Yep.
Notre Dame is favored by 7.5. Over under here of 52.5. I've said since Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, they're going to go into the playoff and get their butt whooped.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get their butt whooped, but there's something about this Indiana team. They're just, and I know that the only real team they played was Ohio State, and they look like they got their ass whooped. But at the same time, if you watch that game, they had 3 huge, like, bad plays on special teams, and that's what killed that game for them.
It changed the game.
Yeah, 100%. If they can avoid the special teams mistakes, I believe in their receivers being able to attack Notre Dame's secondary. So I like Indiana plus 7.5, and I also like the under 52.5. I think with this weather, like we talked about, I think Notre Dame's a team that wants to run the football. If Indiana can make them one-dimensional and force them to pass too, that could be huge in this game, because I don't believe in Riley Leonard as a passer.
Yep.
So,
all right. I like it. I'm going with the total, Blake. I do lean on your Indiana. I do definitely have a lean there. It's something that I'm waiting for numbers to come out tomorrow before I jump on, but I do like that one. So I'm going with the total here. Indiana enters the playoffs with an underrated top 10 defense, only giving up an average of 10 points a game in 4 of their last 5 games. Notre Dame, another top 10 defense, is only giving up 11 points in that same time frame of the 4 of the last 5 weeks. This is an easy under, right? These teams on average only give up 27 points combined a game. Easy unders. Unders getting easier. This total is way too high. However, despite an average of 54% of bets on this under, and even a majority of the money in one of the books, this total opened 50.5 and moved up to 52.5. I'm going with that reverse line movement. I'm going over 52.5. Screw that weather.
It's just what we talked about, though, with the Army-Navy game. If Indiana has some turnovers, same as that Ohio State game like we talked about, if there's turnovers, if Notre Dame turns the ball over, if Riley Leonard, they force him to be a passer and he starts throwing picks, goes full Will Howard on us, then we could see this going over. Like, I think it's going to be a tight number no matter what. I think that all these playoff spreads are going to be, the spread totals are going to be very tight, because these are going to be like NFL lines.
Yes, and they've had 2 weeks to be bet into, and 2 weeks to kind of straighten. If there were any hiccups, they straighten them out. I'm just leaning on what my eyes kind of agreed with the numbers here was what I saw in that USC Notre Dame game. And unless Notre Dame over the last couple of weeks has fixed that defense, I think Cignetti's going to have these guys passing the ball, and I think we're going to see a high number here. But we'll see. We don't know.
Yeah. All right. So at noon, we have Penn State and SMU. SMU going all the way to Happy Valley. Penn State's favored by 8.5. Over under here of 54.5. Mike, you can go first on this one.
All right. Before I get started, I'm going with a side here. By Saturday, depending on the numbers, I could look at the over on this one. This is one where these numbers have bounced a little bit too much for me, but if they come to it, I am looking at the over, but it's not where I'm going. I'm going with the side here. And, the recency bias is going to tell us that SMU struggled in the big moment against a less than Clemson team. They needed a miracle comeback to make that a close game. Penn State, on the other hand, went toe-to-toe and had a shot to upset the number 1 team in the country. You can't make this number high enough, and the public is going to take those points with James Franklin's Lions. Why do I have such a tough time with names on the show? I don't get it. Anyways, however, despite one book looking at 75% of the bets, another book had 72% of the bets on Penn State, Boom, 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 boom. This line opened at about 8.5, and it really hasn't budged. It stayed there. The books like this line. The sharps like this line. I love this line. Give me SMU getting 8.5 points.
And I'm on the other side.
I love it.
I have Penn
like
State, and I also have the under 54.5. My biggest thing is Penn State's defensive line going against this SMU offensive line. Yep. I think Penn State could really do some damage there, and athletically, I just think that they're the far superior team. I do love SMU's quarterback. I think he's like so much fun to watch, crazy athletic.
Yep.
But I think Penn State's is going to be in the Final Four. I said that
we
last
talked
week.
about it. We talked about that. They very well could. They've got that path. I like SMU. I like their year. I think they had their moment in the ACC championship game, and now they're ready for this, and they're going to go in. And again, this is one of these games. Penn State is really struggling to sell tickets. Like there's people there may be a lot of empty seats for this game. So this may, outside of the cold, may not be this ruckus usual crowd there. But we'll see. Again, this is all new. They could pack that stadium selling $10 tickets and $1 hot dogs. I don't know. But I just have faith in what we saw in the second half of that Clemson SMU game is what we're going to see more of.
How far is the drive to Happy Valley from here?
From here?
Yeah.
I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to a game there. Always wanted to.
It is the strangest drive. Again, it was 1995, so it was a long time ago. What I remember is getting off.
I was 2 years old.
There you go. Thank you. I remember getting off the freeway and thinking like, oh, college is going to be right here. And then you're kind of driving through some farmland, and then all of a sudden this like little city pops up. And there it is. It was the craziest, strangest thing. At the time when 95, were they bad? I'm trying to think. I think it was opening weekend, but we didn't go. We sat at a bar and indulged a little bit and watched the game on TV and tried to pick up chicks. Unsuccessful in everything there except for buying beer.
Yeah. Wait, so Todd answered my question. You never did because you I've been there. I said, how far is the drive?
Oh, I don't remember. My whole point of saying that I've been there was that it was so long ago. I don't remember.
Todd answered me though. So
that's all right. The Pony Express is going to come into town and take them to task.
All right. Clemson, Texas. Clemson going to Austin. Texas is favored in this game by 12. Over under here of 51.5. Like I said, I don't have a good feel on the side for this game. I've liked Texas as a team all year. I still like the team, but I think that if they want to win a national championship, they should be playing Arch. Because Quinn has not looked right this year. I could be totally wrong, and this 2 weeks off could really help Quinn Ewers out, and he could come out and look healthy again and put some zip on the ball, because that's the thing that's been weird about him. It's like every pass he throws is like lofted. There's no like fastballs.
Yeah.
And that's created a lot of turnovers for them. And I think Clemson's defense is kind of underrated in this game. Clemson's defense is very, very good. And obviously I think very highly of Texas's defense. We've been talking about that all year. That's the unit that I most trust in this entire game is Texas's defense. So with all that being said, I am going to take the over.
You sounded like me there. I love it.
I think that Klubnik is going to be able to make some plays in this game. I think Quinn will be healthy. And I see it being a higher scoring game. And I think that plays to Clemson a little bit. If it's a higher scoring, obviously, then I think it would be a tighter game. The spread is just so weird. I don't know. I feel like it should be like 9.5, and it's a stinky number. I don't think Texas should be favored by this many.
And that's the funny thing is that you're the first I've heard say that. Everyone is talking about Texas. Everybody's on Texas. They love this number, but this is how it goes, though, right? Everyone's down on Clemson, so we'll see. Sorry, I'm going Blake here. I'm going with both the side and the total here.
Double dip.
Here we go. For the side, Clemson just upset SMU to win the ACC. How weird is that to sound? Clemson upset SMU to win the ACC. Mm-hmm. And the Texas offense is struggling big time. Like you just said, Quinn's struggling, coming off their loss as favorites in the SEC championship. This is way too many points, people are thinking, right, Blake? This is way too many points. You even said it. On the total, what more do you need to know? These two teams average over, this is right, 69. Blake?
Nice.
Points a game. Way over this total. This is easy peasy. Back to the side. Despite a majority of money and bets on Clemson, this number keeps ticking up. It opened at 10.5 and it went to 12. I'm taking Texas minus the 12. On the total, the Sharps came in early with a split of, Blake, only 47% of the bets, but 72% of the money to drop this total real quick. It went from 53.5. They didn't stay around long to 51.5. I'm taking that reverse line movement. I'll take all the sharp movement here. So I'm going with Texas, and I'm going with under 51.5. And I said I was going to make 2 points about Clemson, and this is it. So when I was looking for comparables, like who's Clemson played that might be there? They played Georgia and they played South Carolina. They scored 3 points and 14 points in those games. That ain't going to cut it in this game, and that's why I really like Texas to take it to them. This would be one that I have a couple of beers before this game gets started. I may be on that alt line somewhere. I might jump this up even a little bit more. I think this one could get ugly.
Just depends on Texas's offense.
Well, yeah, you're right. And the thing is, the scariest thing about is Clemson's a big time team. This isn't a team that's
it's not like
uprising.
But that's the thing with this matchup, and that's the part that is like throwing me off. Mm-hmm. With this being the biggest spread, I could easily make the argument that talent-wise, if you were going off of recruiting rankings, whatever you wanted to do to evaluate the talent out of all the playoff games, these two rosters are the closest in talent, I would argue. Yep. Either that or Ohio State, Tennessee. And obviously that's the 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
But still, like, these two rosters are very, very, very well constructed. Like, Dabo is a very good recruiter. I know he doesn't. We used the portal today. I don't know if you saw that news.
Yes, he did. He got his first defensive player.
His first player.
Oh, first. I know it said first, but first player.
First
overall. Okay.
Player.
That's
he's
crazy.
Ever gotten out of the portal.
That's crazy.
But he gets good talent there. Obviously, Texas is Texas. So that's the part that's throwing me off. Is just I just feel like the number's too big.
I think this is going to be feast or famine, Blake, on all these games. 7.5, 8.5, 12, 7, 7.5 in the last game that we're about to go over. A playoff game at home. We keep saying this, a playoff game how do you set that line when it's never been done before? Like I think all these lines look too big. When I first see these lines, I want to take I want to take 7 in the hook. I want to take 7 in the hook. I'll take 8.5. I'll take 12. I'll take all those points. But again, what's it going to be? This is going to be telling for not only for NCAA football, but for bookmakers.
Yeah. All right. Last game. Tennessee at Ohio State going to the shoe. I think it's Ohio State's second night game this season. I don't know if you knew that. And the first one was, I believe, week 2 against Western Michigan on Big Ten Network. All of their games have been at noon. So, and then obviously like Ohio at night. Like it's going to be a great atmosphere. I'm super excited about it. There's the stuff that's been out all week about Tennessee fans like buying a bunch of tickets for this game because the code got leaked for the presale. So they're talking like Tennessee might have like 30% of the stadium.
That would be
which is
amazing.
Crazy.
Now, How bad is that for Ohio State when coming into this game, the big worry was 1 or 2 bad drives to start this game off. This crowd's going to turn on their home team. So that might not actually be a bad thing for Ohio State in a weird kind of way.
If you're a player, though, it's just, for me at least, I feel like I'd rather not travel. Traveling sucks.
Oh yeah, I'd rather not try. But I'm saying, like, the big thing is, like, I would rather have a bunch of orange people yelling at me than my home crowd booing me.
They ain't yelling at you. They're yelling at crying Ryan over there.
Wow, whatever, whoever, whatever it is. Here we go.
Go ahead. You're up first.
I'm up. All right. So I'm going to go with the total here. But I am leaning Tennessee on this one. It's another one that I'm going to wait till Saturday morning and let my numbers get nice and juicy there and see if I can get that. So with this total, the Tennessee offense has found its way again. In the last 5 games, they've been scoring 35, 56, 33, and 28 points. In that same time, Ohio State was scoring 38, 31, and 45. These teams average a whopping 73 points a game. Betting is easy, Blake. Betting is easy. This game's going over, right? Not so fast. Despite 66% of these bets on the over, this total open 46.5. It's never moved. This is the one that has not moved. It's been 46.5 from my gander all week. I'm going to take that sharp line freeze. Give me Ohio State, Tennessee under 46.5.
I'm right there with you. I love this under, actually. This is probably my favorite. Like, out of all of my picks, I like the under the most in this game.
And you should.
I think both these defenses are very good.
You want some numbers on that, Blake? Here we go. Here's some numbers. Here we go. I'm going to be on a rant here. In that same time frame that they were scoring all those points, they were only letting teams score 16 points a game. This is the number 3 and number 8th ranked defense in the nation. These guys, what is this? 16 points a game against good Ds. U of M, Georgia, Penn State. I mean, these are 2 good defenses that are going to be going. So going under, baby.
Yeah, and I love Tennessee in this game. I love Tennessee. Play Rocky Top. I hope that Rocky Top's just playing on loop in there at the shoe. I think that if Ohio State actually puts together a game plan and doesn't try to out-physical Tennessee like they did against Michigan, then they should be in this game 100%. I think that the biggest matchup in this game is going to be how Nico plays and how their receivers, they have good receivers when healthy that can create separation. Ohio State's DBs, we saw it in the Oregon game, are not good. I think that Tennessee's receivers are going to be able to create separation, have some big plays, which that does not help our under. But I believe in Tennessee's defense so strongly.
Right. So in that same time that I mentioned that they were scoring all those points, I went and looked at some comparables. So let's 2 good defenses. What would be comparables? Michigan, Georgia, and Penn State, probably the most comparable that these guys played. And they weren't averaging but 16 points a game. So when these offenses come up against a good defense, they're not scoring what did I have up here? 36, 56, 33. I think that 56, who'd they play? Mercer or whatever it was in the week that the SEC. Yeah. So when they face good defenses, those elevated numbers come down, and that's why we have a total at 46. That's cooked in there. I mean, these guys know it. That's why it's at 46.5. I'm going with these 2 top-ranked defenses, though. You, I agree with you.
Over under 1.5 upsets in this round of the playoff.
Under.
Okay, I'll take the over.
I'm going under. It's like I said, when I just looked at it again, and I don't know. Home playoff games. This is home bowl games. Basically, is what we're talking about. Bowl season, home games. We're going to see what this is going to turn out to be, and this could change. This will change. This will lead into obviously next year's playoffs. and how the bookmakers set these books. If they come out and there's 3 upsets or the dogs are covering everything, they know they put too much into the home field advantage.
Yeah.
Or not enough.
I think, well, obviously my picks. I think Tennessee and I think Indiana have legitimate, and I would not be shocked at all if Clemson won that game either.
Yeah.
The only one I would actually be shocked at, which is insane, because I'm trusting James fucking Franklin, is that's the one game I'm like, yeah, I love Penn State in that game. Like, I think they're just the far better team. Penn State, I changed my mind so much. That Oregon game changed my perception of Penn State, like, so much. It's insane because, especially going down early like they did in that game, they went down 14-0 in like the first 5 minutes. For them to fight back and to be within a score at the end of that game, they're a good team.
Yes, they are.
John hates me for saying all of this.
And I think I even asked you, I've asked you a couple times if you're worried about Penn State as the years gone along. My whole thing with that game against Oregon is I don't know what that game is, because now I don't know what conference championship games are. Think about the consequence for losing that championship game was a home playoff game. I don't know what we got in those games. I don't know if that was the game plan, if that's just hey, let's go out there and let's try some things. So it'll be interesting now that this game is the consequence for not playing well in this game is you go home. Now that's when I want to see what this James Franklin team does.
Yeah.
And I think SMU had that last week, that 2 weeks ago in the ACC championship game, they woke themselves up. And again, I think hopefully something woke them up. We'll see. I'm going with that. I'm going with that smart money.
Now, are you home all day Saturday?
No, I do have a deal with my wife, but I'm going to lose that deal, Blake. As everyone out there that's married knows, you lose those deals. Sebi flies home tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Saturday. It's not Friday yet. He flies home Saturday. So someone's got to get him from the airport. And right now I'm scheduled to do it. And I said, if that middle game, that's the Texas game, right?
Yeah.
If that game's tight and I'm in it, I'm not leaving. She's going to have to go to the airport and get him.
What? You have a daughter. What's she doing?
She's not home. I know she's doing something. She's got a boyfriend. She's 22. Come on.
Send her.
She's never around. No one's ever around. You know what? She might be going with me. But one of us wants to be there. I don't mind being there.
This is the college football playoff. This is uncharted territory.
Blake, okay. I tried that one. It didn't work.
Weird.
It's weird.
There's also NFL games going on at the same time, though, and that's why.
But that doesn't even compare. It doesn't even compare.
Okay, Todd, can you jump in here? You're not a college football guy like I am, right? Okay, but you watch your fair share of NFL. What are you going to be watching Saturday?
Going to be tearing down a house.
Okay. If you weren't doing that, what would
Tennessee,
you be
Ohio State would be the one I'd watch.
You wouldn't watch the other two.
Maybe Notre Dame, just to see
that's
them
Friday night, but
get exposed. Yeah. Well, then I don't know the schedule. See, look at this guy.
But yeah, I get it. But okay, so you would watch like the Kansas City Houston game over most of these playoff games.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like that's actually probably more common than I would like to believe it is.
They did a good job, Houston and the Chiefs, and it's the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, right?
Well, it's the teams that are playing on Christmas Day.
Did you know, sir, that Lamar Jackson has only played Pittsburgh one time at home in front of fans? Because it was COVID. And then it's always been late in the year, and they sat him.
That's wild.
And I saw that posted today, and I was like, "That is crazy." This is I think this is the first time he's played him in front of fans.
Now, before COVID, Lamar feels like has been in the league since like 2012. You could tell me he's been in the league for 10 years. I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." I don't know. Lamar's been in the NFL forever.
He hasn't been in that long. I look, maybe it was one of those,
I think you got duped because
did I get duped? Gosh darn it. I hate
Lamar
when I get
Jackson
duped.
NFL
I
draft.
took a picture of it. Hold on. I took a picture of it. Give me a second. Right here. Crazy but
He's
true.
great. Okay.
Ravens superstar Lamar Jackson has never played the Steelers in Baltimore with fans in attendance. 2018 rookie year Flacco. 2019 they rested him. 2020 COVID. 2021 injured. 2022 injured. 2023 they rested him. Tyler Huntley's played him twice.
Okay. All right.
I didn't get duped.
No, you didn't. No, yeah.
I'm old.
All right.
It's very easy.
Well, let's get into these NFL picks.
Yeah, let's get these NFL picks because you're on a shot clock.
No, we got 15 minutes. It's fine. Yeah. We never go as long with the NFL picks. I don't know why.
They don't
Chargers tonight. Chargers Broncos. Chargers are favored by 2.5. The over under here is 41.5. I will start us on this one. Harbaugh's been not great the last 2 weeks, but I think that this is a get right spot for him. I rode with Denver last week, but I like the Chargers in this spot. I think it's going to be a very low scoring game. So I'm also on the under for this game. That I really love because Thursday Night Football, I don't know if people have noticed, besides that Lions Green Bay game, which was not a true Thursday Night Football game because both those teams played on Thanksgiving, Thursday Night Football late in the season is not good football.
No.
So give me the under.
The short week doesn't go over well later in it. I love it, Blake. I'm on this total too. The public's going to see the Chargers are just coming off a loss where they gave up 40 points. Denver has 4 straight wins, averaging 35 points a game. How about that, Bo Nix, huh? How about him? Denver games are averaging 55 points over the last 3 weeks. This is an easy over. However, despite 60% of the bets at both books that I use are on the over, this total opened 42 and just dropped to 41.5. I'm going with that reverse line movement and the two of the top defenses, if not the 2 top defenses in the NFL. I'm going under 41.5, and this is in my account too. So this is actually a bet of mine.
Love it. So yeah, like I said, there's 2 Saturday NFL games. So if college football does not wet your whistle, there's a couple NFL games going on. The first one, I believe this game is at noon. It is Houston at Kansas City. Houston is getting 3.5 points. Kansas City is obviously favored at home. The over-under here is 42. Go ahead, Mike.
I hate this game. This game would have been so much easier if the princess didn't twist his ankle and cause everything to get messed up.
He's playing, though.
He's playing. He's playing. He's great. He's Patrick Mahomes. We know
everything's
this.
Fine.
I know. Ooh, I'm getting emergency phone calls. Hey, Houston's on a 2-game winning streak, but the year has been a struggle for them. So let's not forget that they've had a tough time of it. Texas games also have gone over the total in 4 of the last 5 weeks. Kansas City might be the luckiest 11-1, 12-1 team, whatever they are. We've been talking about this, but the public knows one thing. So they've got the greatest player in the league in Patrick Mahomes, and his legend grows when he's hurt. Whenever he's hurt, he comes out and has these games that everyone says he can't do it. The public ate up Mahomes as the home dog when it was going to be Wentz starting. But so the public came in, they ate it up. This opened up. The Texans won. It's gone all the way to Kansas City over 3.5. For me, this is typically a stay away game. Whether he's hurt, whether he's not hurt, you're going to have this, is he limping coming into the stadium thing, right? And they're going to be doing it all day. However, despite Mahomes being back at practice, the Sharps have remained on the Texans from the beginning all the way to this new line change where they're getting 3.5 points. The public's all on that Mahomes train. I'm taking Houston plus the 3.5 with splits of only 30% of the bets, Blake, but 57% of the money. At another book, 38% of the bets, 60% of the money. I'm going with that sharp money. I'm also going under 42. Despite this number jumping all over the place, the one book I use has a sharp 35% of the bets, 60% of the money split on this under. So I'm going under 42. Every time I bet against Mahomes, I lose. So this is just market 0 for 2. Houston in the under.
No, because I'm with you. I'm riding with you.
I
got
like it.
Houston plus 3.5. I don't know if you know this, but last week was the first time in 8 weeks that Kansas City has covered.
Okay.
They're horrible against the
Yep.
spread.
Yep.
I think they have 2 ATS wins on the season.
Yep.
They are very bad ATS.
And Houston's getting healthier. They're getting someone back on the offensive line, and their defense is rock solid. And that if Mahomes is even 90%, he's going to be in trouble against this defense.
And Nico Collins is awesome.
Yep.
He is awesome. He
This is
changes that whole Houston team. I still think Kansas City wins. They'll win by 3. They'll win by 2, whatever. But I think Houston covers.
They'll win by 1 on a missed extra point.
That's the season that they're having. That's just how it's going. So yeah, I'm on that Houston train with you. And then the other Saturday game, as we talked about a little bit ago, we got the battle for the AFC North, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. And I think if Baltimore wins, they can still win the division, right?
Yeah.
Because they're one game back.
Yeah, you've got Baltimore still in that, and Cincinnati is still in the playoff hunt too.
Yeah. But Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by 6, over-under of 45.5. Tomlin as a dog.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
And in this rivalry, actually, though, they just consistently play like field goal games.
Yeah.
They're always tight games. I just think 6 is too many. I know how bad Pittsburgh looked last week, but I'm taking it plus the 6.
Yeah, Baltimore's usually bad against Pittsburgh. We had those trends a couple weeks ago when they played. I have this one marked. Sometimes it's just this easy, Blake. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are the 2 top offenses in the league entering this game, averaging 54 points a game. Easy over, right? Despite 56% of early bets coming in. And you know, when early bets come in, they're coming in hot. They're coming in on the over, and they dropped this total from 46.5 to 45.5. That's because the splits were for the sharps. They had some sharp splits here. That's reverse line movement. I'm going to take Pittsburgh and Baltimore under 45.5.
I mean, the game earlier this season was insanely under. I remember that. I think one of my picks for the show is the over.
Yeah.
I'm
going to say I was probably on Pittsburgh, and I usually don't double dip, but if I did, it would have been the under in that game. It's just the way it goes. And again, it's when you look at these games, this is going to be a Saturday game. Eyeballs are going to be on it. You know, there's some points cooked into there for the public to take.
Philly is going to Washington. Philly is favored by 3.5 on the road. The over-under is 45.5 here. Mike, you go ahead and give me a pick for this one.
I tried my hardest, Blake. I try every week I come into this, and I'm like, stop being the Undertaker. Stop being the Undertaker. These games, you can't have 5 games listed, and they're all going to go under. It just doesn't happen. But here we go. Again, this looks too easy. 2 top 10 offenses averaging 55 points a game. Philly's averaging 24 points a game the last 3 weeks. Washington, 29 points. This has to go over. Well, this one's got 75% of the bets are on the over, but this total dropped from 47.5 to 45.5. Once again, reverse line movement. Once again, give me the under. I am the Undertaker.
And I love overs. You know that about me.
And I see Philly's D is really clicking, looking real good. And I don't think Jaden Daniels is right. He does not look right when he throws the football right now.
He looked better last week, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that game was like weird and came down to the wire when it shouldn't have. Yeah. But I'm also on Philly. Don't get me wrong. I think Philly's the better team, and then I am on the over 45.5.
Yeah, I don't like that over, but I was really hoping that my numbers came out Philly. I really do like them, but my numbers just didn't come out, so I couldn't jump.
They're just rolling right now. They really are. And then the last game, Minnesota Vikings at Seattle. Minnesota is favored by 3 here. And the over-under is 43.5. This spread is so, like, do you think that if last week's result against Green Bay for Seattle got, like, ran off the field in that game. Obviously, Geno is.
Yep.
Has there been have you seen anything about Geno playing?
Yes,
I don't know
he's
if
playing.
He
Geno is playing. Geno is playing, but he's gonna be hurt. They can't put Sam Howell in there, or is that his name? Sam Howell.
Yeah, he was awful.
Boom! Look at that. Yeah, he was bad. Minnesota's defense would eat him up. So everything I've heard is pointing towards Geno. This line is pointing towards that.
Yeah, if that game though, like, didn't happen the way it did, like if Seattle played a tight game against Green Bay, even with everything else like as is, do you think this line would still be Minnesota favored by 3?
No,
It'd probably be like 1 the other way.
100%. I think Minnesota, and that's part of my pick. I think Minnesota is one of the most disrespected teams out there in the NFL. It really comes towards the spread. People refuse to give Sam Darnold any credit. They look right past the solid defense. But, I mean, when you look at their points, look, their point spread last week was ridiculous. They should be heavy favorites. This is a team that's going after the number 1 seed in the NFC. And Seattle is a crap inconsistent team, and we're only looking at 3 points. I don't know. I would love to have seen them do that, and I would have loved to have seen this come out closer to a pick 'em because it would help my pick even more.
Yeah. With all that being said, I'm taking Minnesota minus 3. I just like you touched on exactly what I think about. Like, I just think this Minnesota team is really good.
Yep.
Seattle's defense does match up well with the weapons that Minnesota puts out there. They have good corners, obviously. Like, I love their scheme. It's the same scheme that Michigan ran under McDonald. So I like all of that. Mm-hmm. But how do you stop Minnesota at this point? Like, legitimately.
It's
Justin Jefferson is playing out of his mind good. Probably playing like I would argue Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the NFL this year. Yes. But Justin Jefferson is not far behind him at all. And then you got Addison, who is playing like a Pro Bowler in his own right.
Yeah,
like they're so hard to stop. You got Hawkinson up the seam, Jones at running back. Like, they're playing really, really, really good football.
The only difference there is you're not talking about Goff. You're talking about Darnold. You're not talking about Mahomes. And no one's giving Darnold that credit. That's right where it stops. And I'm going to tell you how you stop this Minnesota team. You put them in the playoffs. I will be betting against them the first round. Unless they continue to get disrespected with the lines, then this makes it real hard. A line like this makes it real hard to take the dog coming back the other way. So I'm on it with you. I'm on Minnesota, and I just wrote. I'm not sure what I'm missing here. Minnesota's 12-2 on a 7-game heater, fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC. However, they continue to get disrespected on the point spread every week. Geno Smith is hurt, but he's playing. Seattle is 4-1 in the last 5, but anytime they face, none of those teams are playoff teams that they beat. When they face playoff teams, they're 0-2. This team is a fraud. They're not bad, but they're not as good as being 4-1. This line moved from 4.5 to 3, so that tells me that some smart money is on Seattle. Sometimes I don't agree with these smart guys. He ain't so smart. I don't see it. I like Minnesota. Give me Minnesota minus the 3 points. I'm siding with disrespect.
Yes. All right, and then I'll roll through. I got 3 other NFL picks. Mike, do you have other ones as well? I'm assuming, or you don't have locks yet.
Nope,
right,
I don't. I don't have any locks. I got to pull my book out here. So I have a couple leans.
Okay. I got 3
dogs.
I got 3. I got Cincinnati minus the 8.5 against Cleveland. Cleveland bench Jameis. Who's going to rally the troops now? If you don't have Jameis,
Right.
what do you have if you're Cleveland? Nothing.
I sent you that meme with them getting them rid. It's so bad.
Tampa -4 at Dallas. Baker's just, again, that's another quarterback who's getting no love for like anything. He's playing out of his mind. And especially now that Mike Evans is healthy, everything there. And then Jacksonville +1.5 at Vegas. Vegas shouldn't be favored by anyone. That team is awful.
That's awful.
I understand that Jacksonville's awful as well, but that it should just be a pick 'em because both these teams stink. I'm going to take the dog. I'll take Jacksonville +1.5.
Right.
Mac Jones actually didn't have a bad game last week. And if you're telling me I have to pick between Mac Jones or Desmond Ridder, I'm going to take Mac Jones.
All day. All right, so I've got the under tonight is actually a bet I have in my account, but where I've got marks for leans are the Lions, Bears under, the Panthers at home against the Cards, the Eagles, Washington. Wait, we talked about that game. Yes. I got that. I'm looking at that under, actually taking that into my account. The Colts Titans under, Mason Rudolph. He burned me once. He's not going to burn me again. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I could be on the Jets. I could be. I don't know. I don't like it. It depends on what Sunday numbers come out.
3-point dogs at home, right?
And it's just as I pass by this, everything that I have marked is for the Seahawks. Go Vikings. Let's go, baby. Man, everything else it's really wonky with injuries and stuff. I could be on the Cowboys if it comes out. I could even be on the Cowboys at home against Tampa Bay. But that's about it.
I wouldn't bet with my money on Cooper Rush or your money or whoever's Todd's money, anyone's money. No one's money.
He's Cooper not Rush. Good. He's not good, but he's getting it done. I mean, I get it. I understand it. So if you look at some of the games, be it the Panthers, be it the Cowboys, or be it the Jets, those are 3 games Sunday morning, Blake. I've got to sit there with a coffee and an omelet and look at the other book that I use, numbers that come out, and then I do have to make a choice. And it gets into how sharp is that split, and then where does that line move?
Yeah.
And those are the 2 huge things. And at some point, I like the way the Jets looked last week, but you're right. The Cowboys will be tough, but I could do that. It's the Panthers, because you have to take a look at, if you go 5-week kind of, I don't know if I like enough what I've seen out of the Panthers in the last 6 weeks. They've been 2 up, 2 down, but 4.5 points at home. The Cardinals aren't crap either.
Yeah. No, so the Cardinals are the whole NFC West is so inconsistent. It's horrible.
Yeah, so I could be on some absolute stinkers this week.
All right, so real quick before we get out of here, what do you want to do next week? What day do you want to go? We should probably do Todd. And obviously we can talk to Todd about this after the show, but probably Friday. But I wasn't sure with hockey stuff for you. So we'll figure it out, and maybe we'll post something on socials.
Yeah, 27th works solid for me.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had hockey stuff going on with Sean or
no.
What, so
no, usually the high schools are on a break right now. We're good till about January.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see everyone next week, and we'll break down everything that happened this week, and hopefully I stay hot, and Mike's gonna get hot.
Gotta get hot.
We're gonna, because we're riding together on some of these. I know we got some opposites, but we're gonna get it all right. It's gonna work out.
Here we go.
All right, we will see everybody next week. Thank you, Todd, as always, and stay tuned in 25 minutes on this channel and all the What the Puck channels. Mike's gonna be right back on, but with Sean, not me. And they're going to be talking hockey because I can't talk hockey. So that's what they're around for. So, check that out in a half hour. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. And we'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Off the Board. Tune in all throughout the football season for weekly picks and insights. Subscribe to Unsyndicated and Off the Board on all your favorite social media and podcast platforms.